Yeah,
and China
during
even,
communist Albania, they did have a relationship with China. But like I said, my family, we were all anti-communist fighters. That's why I was born in America. My great-grandfather was up in the mountains of Albania fighting against that regime, but they were outnumbered, outgunned. And the rest of my family got thrown into internment camps, my mom's side of the family. My great-grandfather did 28 years in a gulag-type prison, of which he got out and lived a year after. My great-grandmother was hung off a tree, and that's, why my mom ended up in the U.S. as a child. My mom, I think she came in when she was like 7 or 8. So my mom speaks English better than me, which is crazy. And English was my first language. It wasn't Albanian. I learned Albanian later in my life. So I have like a weird New York, and my voice is very deep too, so it like kind of exaggerates the way I pronounce certain things. It's not really a true Albanian accent. Do
you think that sort of trauma in your bloodline transcend, like, do you think that gets passed down somehow without the actual knowledge and actual, like, without the experience? Do you think that somehow gets transferred?
I think there's definitely such a thing as generational trauma, 100%. I think that everything shapes you, whether you realize it or not. So I'm a product of 2 traumas, right? So 2 negative things led to something positive, right? Negative times a negative equals a positive. I consider my birth a positive. I consider my contribution to life a good one. I don't hate the people that did what they did. I think there was a certain level of propaganda and things that happened. I hope that people that neighbor our people realize that, like, we just want peace too, man. Like, enough's enough already. None of us are winning, man. This whole war shit, where has it gotten us, right? So I try to broadcast a positive message. I try to inspire people to be, and I think I find my bravery a lot of times. I'm not going to sit and act like I'm a big dude. And I know a lot of people. New York City is my playground. I promise you. When I tell you it's my playground, it's my playground. But I'm not some tough guy trying to prove a point or anything like that. I think that, I don't know where I'm going with this thought because I just lost my first track of thing. But basically, I feel like I just want to do things that are positive. And at times when life gets really difficult, and it does get difficult, to sit here and say that my life doesn't get difficult at times, I'd be lying to you. We all have problems, personal issues, things like that. I think of my grandfather and what he went through and how he came to this country with nothing and started as a doorman and then a super, and like he went through hell and brought kids. He couldn't even speak the language. And in the Bronx, it was a freaking war zone at that time. The Bronx was burning when my family started in America. And I find strength when I think of them, like what they went through. I do believe it does impact you when you're aware of where you come from and who you are. To know that my great-grandfather, his statue stands all over Albania. He was the general of the resistance of our people, the Legion of Prizren. You can Google it, the Legion of Prizren. My great-grandfather was literally the general that led that resistance. He died in battle. So I find bravery in that. And, bravery doesn't mean there's an absence of fear. Some people are just stupidly brave, right? But the majority of people that were brave, they had fear. To me, the most brave people in our history here in the U.S., I'm going to take off my hat to people like Dr. Martin Luther King. He knew he's going to die, bro. Malcolm X, he preached a message of hatred in the beginning, and then he preached one of unity, and it cost him his life. He knew he was going to die. That's bravery.